Hey, good morning. I want to chat with you.
The employer evolution. Tonight, the changing Hampton Roads workplace. What makes some jobs the best? It's more than the paycheck. This is What Matters. Good evening, I'm Kathy Lewis. In this jobless recovery, most of us feel pretty fortunate just to have a job, but there are some places in Hampton Roads that have been recognized as being the best places to work in the region. And tonight we bring you the leaders of 3 companies that get pretty high marks. Joining us, John Wheeler, who's the Chief Executive Officer and President of Wheeler Interests in Virginia Beach. Also, Vanessa Shinoga is with us today, and she is the Human Resources Counsel, I should say, with Liberty Tax Service. And Martha Tarman is with us as well, a mortgage bank branch manager with Navy Federal Credit Union. Good to have all of you with us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
It's quite an honor to have been designated the way that you are. 2 of our guests have been designated by Inside Business Magazine, and John Wheeler's company has been lauded by MSNBC and Men's Fitness Magazine. I wonder, the men's fitness thing is intriguing, John, because you were named one of the 15 fittest companies in America. How'd you pull that off?
Very interesting. We were with companies like Google and large companies like that from California, so it was an interesting mixture, but it was very exciting for us. And it's really the philosophies that we've instilled at the company and the different programs we have in place caught the attention of people outside Virginia.
Yeah, they sure did. In fact, the situation caught the attention of MSNBC, and they sent their people down to see what was going on at Wheeler Interest. Here's their story.
We work hard, we play hard, but we're very conscious about health and well-being.
That's the way John Wheeler describes the environment at Wheeler Interest. It's the company he owns and operates in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
We are a acquisition, development, leasing, and management company, and our primary focus is shopping centers, and more specifically grocery-anchored shopping centers.
Wheeler employs between 32 and 34 associates at any given time and generates as much as $15 million a year. Buying and selling property is definitely priority number 1, but the company is also taking a fairly ambitious approach to employee health and wellness.
This is about creating an environment that is a safe, comfortable, healthy environment, a place that people enjoy coming to work every day and really enjoy their time here.
Its program has gotten plenty of attention. Men's Fitness Magazine named Wheeler one of the nation's fittest companies. Among the biggest concerns, smoking.
The first thing that we implemented that was the most important was the no smoking policy.
Wheeler's non-smoking policy is serious business. He makes the company's stance on smoking clear from the moment a candidate walks in the door.
The first thing I said before I introduced myself, I said, "Do you smoke?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "I don't mean to be rude, but we are a non-smoking company. And if you don't smoke in the future, we'd love to revisit with you." And that was the end of the interview.
Legally, smokers aren't a protected class of people. And that gives Wheeler the power to enforce its non-smoking policy through hiring. It doesn't mean the company doesn't already have smokers on staff, though.
But it's something we accept, but at the same time we work with them to try to get them to quit smoking.
Wheeler's helping people like company Vice President Victoria Burridge pay for their smoking cessation programs. Aside from the financial benefit, Burridge says Wheeler's no smoking policy is making it easier for her to quit.
I know when I come to work I'm not going to feel the pressure of knowing that anybody else is going out on a smoke break or somebody's leaving to go have a cigarette. I don't have to smell it. I don't have to be around it. It's just generally frowned upon, and I know I'm going to get positive reinforcement when I'm here at the office.
Free cholesterol checks and blood pressure screenings are a regular part of the working environment, as are healthy lunches, which are catered by a local restaurant. The free in-house meals also help get a little work done.
They stay here in the office, they're in the conference room, and there's a lot more conversations that go on. Actually create many meetings in the office, and business actually continues where it would actually stop if they went out to lunch.
Work aside, the twice-weekly lunches give associates a little bonding time.
Growth potential we have, the flexibility, the team, the camaraderie. We can laugh together, we can cry together, we can play together, but we know that the bottom line is we got work to do.
At Wheeler, there are no set vacation or sick days. And employees can work a flexible schedule if they like. It's up to them to decide whether or not they need to come to the office.
We trust them, they trust us, and they're professionals, they're adults. The message is you can go on vacation. The message is we don't track you on a daily basis. The message is if you're not well, you're not feeling well and you're sick, stay home. They respect the process. And I think they know if they took advantage of it, they wouldn't be here.
Really, really interesting. So, John Wheeler, this whole business of set your own vacation, I think people will hear that and say, well, how does anybody show up for work if they're all setting their own vacation? How does that work?
Well, like I said in the piece, they don't take advantage of it, and they are professionals, they're adults. We've had situations where somebody's father was passing away, kind of like vacation, but passing away, and they had hospice come in, and they thought he was going to pass away in a week. It became 2 weeks, became 3 weeks, and we said, sit tight. We got coverage, we'll take care of it, and it's almost like debits and credits where people cover for you while you're gone.
Yeah, so but that is about a professional atmosphere, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, how about Victoria Burridge? How's she doing with the smoking?
She's doing fantastic. She went through
Good
the
job,
different,
Victoria. We're proud of you.
She went through the different smoking cessation programs, and she has not smoked now for 3 months.
And you are a real, because you said in this piece, you know, if somebody comes in and they smoke, this is just not the right place for you. So as we look at this whole debate about health care, this has to have had some sort of impact on your bottom line, I would guess.
No question, and you're saving time. You think about when somebody smokes,
Yeah.
they'll go out 10 times a day, each time maybe 5 minutes. Well, there's 50 minutes an hour that they've lost of productive time, and not to mention the odors that come back into the office with them. And we're in the people business, just like these two young ladies here. They're retailers, we're landlords, we're in the shopping center business, and we don't want to exude that type of presentation when we go out into the marketplace and have them smell that.
Really interesting. Happy to have Vanessa Shinoga with us, and both of our guests today are in shopping centers that are operated by John Wheeler. So we kept it all in the family today. Vanessa, nice to see you, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
I was chuckling with you before we started taping about the fact that you are the HR and corporate counsel, and you said you wear a lot of hats around there.
Well, we all at Liberty strive to do the best and to be the best. So we all wear many hats. It's a company that I think
y'all
all
wear
employees,
costumes too.
Oh, we do. We do wear costumes, and I have to say this is not our typical dress. We are
this
very
is hurting
casual.
You today, isn't it?
Oh, it sure is. I would much prefer the Statue of Liberty costume, I tell you.
But you have a very casual company. You are, when we talk about, you know, there's that great debate, what does business casual mean? You all define it in an interesting way.
Well, it's very casual. Our CEO is frequently seen in shorts, whether it is in July or August or in December. And, you know, our focus is on being the best, and we attract the best and the brightest who do great work. And the focus is on doing work. One of our mission statements is to monitor results, not activities. So whether that be through telecommuting or casual dress or just being flexible with our hours and taking care of our people, that's what Liberty is about.
So it's sort of the same kind of situation in the sense that you expect people to be professional. And so you're not going to, if somebody comes in at 8 o'clock one morning, 9 o'clock the next, because a child has a doctor's appointment or something, you're monitoring what they're doing on the job, what they're accomplishing, not necessarily how they're punching the clock.
Absolutely, and you can tell with Liberty Tax Service that it works. We are the fastest growing tax preparation franchise out there. We've won numerous awards, as you know, you've mentioned Inside Business, but we've also won Entrepreneur Magazine Awards. We've been ranked #1 in the industry and #3 overall for our franchises. So it's not only in our international corporate headquarters, which is located in Virginia Beach, but also down to our franchise level, which, as John mentioned, some of them do happen to be in a shopping center, but it's all around a fantastic company with fantastic culture.
And really very much written into the mission statement of your company, and I suspect it is in some respect in all of these companies, a commitment to community service.
Absolutely. Our CEO, John Hewitt, had founded Stop Hunger Now, which is aimed at feeding the hungry and getting rid of hunger worldwide. We're also involved in the March of Dimes. And we do fun things. You know, we talk about culture, and it trickles down. We have poker tournaments where we allow the winner of the poker tournament to choose the charity where the proceeds will go. We have chili cook-offs where our managers and vice presidents will bring in their crock pots and spend the afternoon cooking, all for charity. We are currently running a food drive for the Mayflower Marathon Food Drive, and next week we'll start the Salvation Army's Angel Tree Gift Drive.
And then I know that probably not everyone who watches WHRO also watches the situation comedy called The Office.
Oh.
But I was thinking about this with regard to your company, because they have a thing on The Office. They work for a company called Dunder Mifflin's. They have this this awards thing they call the Dundies. Well, you all have a video contest called Why I Love Liberty, and apparently this thing is just amazing with awards and
It sure is.
red carpet and everything.
That's right, and we gave money awards. I believe the top prize was $1,000 down to the second and third best, and we had a wonderful turnout because so many employees do love working for Liberty. So it wasn't very difficult for them to submit a video telling why they love Liberty.
See, I always thought people had to be dragged kicking and screaming into those costumes. What you're telling me is they fight for the privilege.
They absolutely love it.
All right, good
and
enough.
Employees overall just love working there, no matter what their position is.
So Liberty Tax Service was the overall winner in the Inside Business Best Places to Work competition. The first place winner in the large category was Navy Federal Credit Union. We're glad to have Martha Tarman with us. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
You are somebody who's really grown up in that business and really is an example of a lot of the elements and aspects that make that company such an award winner.
I agree. We certainly do have a number of military spouses who work for Navy Federal. I was, as I mentioned to you before the show, I was a perfect example of that, starting out in Pensacola. And then when my husband was transferred here to Norfolk, I was transferred too. So it was a wonderful, and we try to do that. We try to keep employees, whether they're traveling from overseas or, we have obviously military people all over the world.
Right. Now, do you have to be in the military or connected to the military to work at Navy Federal?
Not to work, no. No, we certainly have a number of civilian employees, but many employees, like as I said, like myself. Sure. And I think it helps to sort of understand the culture, what people are going through. It's very difficult to move your family and
no kidding.
Relocate, kids in school, the dog's confused, everybody, the whole family is sort of uprooted. So
I don't think people really appreciate the impact that has on military spouses either, because so many times they come to a new community, and in some respects they sort of have to start over again if they've established a career in another place, or they're sort of climbing up the ranks, then they get yanked up, go to the new place. So with a situation like you're describing, it sounds like that would be less of an issue, that you would be able to continue your progress if it's possible within the branches around the world.
Absolutely, and we've done that. I've known a number of people that I've worked with over the years who have been able to do that. They were thrilled, obviously, their families were thrilled, and I think it was a win for our organization to be able to keep the stability and all the knowledge and experience with those people, because they can bring that right along with them when they move.
Indeed. So I want to ask all of you this question, because it sounds like in what I hear in every one of these examples has to do with a tremendous amount of, I would say, first of all, respect for the professionalism of your employees, and I guess that's about how you choose your employees. It has to be a part of that story, I suppose. But I wonder, how did you develop this philosophy, and what sort of process did you go through to share it with your employees and make sure that it was part of how they thought about their work?
Sure. No, it takes time, and the way I like to reference it is it takes baby steps. And our firm is in our 10th year, going into our 11th year. But I think it's working in other organizations in my business life. I've been in business now for 27 years, and you learn what works and what doesn't work elsewhere, and then you improve upon that. And now we've had 10 years with my firm, and we started off with a small fitness facility downtown Norfolk, and now we have a 3,000-foot fitness facility here in our office building in Virginia Beach.
And people can just go anytime they want to?
They can go anytime they want to. We have a 12 o'clock stretch class every day, and then we have a 5:15 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for a group class. Start off with 8 of us in the office. Now we have 12.
Wow.
And it's different circuits that we go through, and we start off with 2. Now we're up to 6.
Yeah. Wow.
So
and you're picking up the tab?
Absolutely.
For that?
You bet.
Okay, so as I think about that from a cost perspective, and I read something that you weren't really sure how much it cost, you thought it might be in the 5 figures, which I don't know, sounds like a lot of money to me. But as you think about that, what's the trade-off you make? What makes it worth that 5 figures to make that happen?
Well, first of all, the cost is insignificant to the ultimate accomplishment. That's number one. Number 2 is you're building equity with the associate.
Right.
Number 3 is it provides a healthy workplace, a safe, comfortable environment. It's right downstairs, and it's almost like they feel guilty if they left. The gym's right there. It's not like they have to go home, pack,
Right.
change clothes, go to the fitness facility. They can do it at 5:15. It's 30, 45 minutes. You're out at your home by 6 or 6:30. So it is the ease and the access to the facility downstairs.
I can imagine. As you think about the companies that you're associated with, you know, I hate to break it to you, but not every company is like that. You know, not every company has a liberal policy in terms of who's coming and who's going, but every bit of research seems to show that people appreciate this and value this. So in this economy where jobs are a little bit tough to find, I'm guessing this, not only are people happy to have a job, but they're also happy to have one that has these kinds of elements to them.
They sure are at Liberty. We really do feel it's a privilege to work there, and we do continue to hire, and if anybody is interested, libertytax.com. We really, our saying is we refuse to participate in the recession. We're doing very well, and it is because of our fantastic employees and the culture that we foster. Our mission statement is to set the standard, improve each day, and have some fun. And to be successful, you can also have fun hand in hand. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's, you know, there's any sort of unprofessionalism or anything like that. It fosters a fantastic working environment, which keeps our employee turnover so low.
Right.
In fact, we even offer referral fees for employees that refer new employees. And our employee turnover is, as I mentioned, quite low, but also employees stick around for quite a long time at Liberty.
And that seems to be true for all of you. You all have very low turnover, which if you know anything about what it takes to hire employees, train employees, get them up to speed, make them worth the investment, it takes a while to make that happen. So that has to be a great benefit as well. You know, there's two things I wonder about. One is this healthcare conversation we've been having nationally, what your thoughts are about that as they relate to some of the policies that you have. And then the other thing I wonder about has to do with transportation in this region. I know that all of you have said at one point or another that to the extent that you can, you're kind of fans of this concept of teleworking if you can work it out. And clearly not every business is apt for that sort of thing. But I wonder what you're thinking, John, about those two issues that are so powerful in our lives.
Well, the first, and I'm very proud of this, we were just chosen by Optima. And they came in our office literally yesterday, and we were chosen for a new program called Healthy at Work. And what that is if we have 90% or more of our associates fill out a health performance form, and they submit it independently, directly themselves. It's a private form. We do get results back from our whole office, but not on individual. If we have 90% participation, they will promise to cap any future potential increases on our health care costs at 9.9% for next year. That's just for participating in the survey. Now, it just came out. We're one of the first few companies to sign up for it, and I think you're going to see more and more things like that happen with the health care providers, whoever your group is, that are trying to find new alternatives to cap the health care costs themselves. Things that we're doing, trying to be healthy, trying to keep cholesterol down, blood pressure screen, trying to keep your blood pressure down, diabetes, all the things with obesity that we hear about. They're all tied together. And there's a big common denominator in there too, and that's smoking. And that's why I'm so harsh on anti-smoking in my office. And as you know, they're not a protected class in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Exactly.
So it gives us the opportunity to kind of put our foot down and then go off in a new direction.
Now, what would be in it for Optima I mean, I see what's in it for you. That's a beautiful thing that your prices are capped. But for Optima, what is it about then? It would be about just gathering information and being able to maybe develop some programs that would respond to health issues? Or?
I think so, but also I think they have a need, they have a desire to try to control costs as well. And this is their way to do it without getting into our personal private lives.
So it's an aggregate collection of information that gives them some guidance in terms of how many people and what kind of habits
and gives us
they
guidance
have.
too. So when the report comes back, we don't have a person's name, but we have a group average, and they may say your group is too high on this, and guess what I can do? I can go off in another direction working on a new program with them to minimize those results in the future.
Interesting. How about you, Vanessa, as you think about this issue of healthcare and telecommuting? And I know I've thrown two biggies at you.
Well, we actually just started a similar program. Last month we offered flu shots, and in conjunction with offering our flu shots to our employees, we also offered blood pressure monitoring and cholesterol and meeting with a nutritionist, and that absolutely is important, and it's important for a company to realize that the overall well-being of their employees is important, and we are big advocates of telecommuting. As you mentioned earlier, of course, you know, if you have talented individuals, they're just as talented at home as they are in the office. And of course, it depends on the job. You know,
Sure.
there are some positions where you are required to be in the office.
Yeah.
But if it's possible, why not? Why not put that out there as a perk for the employee? They appreciate it. They're, you know, loyal, hardworking individuals, and the job
Boy, no
still
kidding.
gets done. It goes back to monitoring results, not activity.
And you know, this is the thing I keep hammering home because this statistic is just fascinating to me, that if we left our cars at home 1 day in 10 in this region, just 1 day in 10, we would end peak level congestion without building a single mile of road. I mean, that's an amazing statistic.
Says
to
a
me.
lot.
It really does. And so I keep thinking that the business community is going to have to get a hold of that at some point and find out some ways to do that. So it's nice to see that you all are already starting to do that. Martha Tarman, how about you? What about the issues of health care and this idea of telecommuting? Is that something that's appealing to your folks?
Absolutely. For our people who are working in our branches, tellers, as we said, some people need to be there, obviously,
Sure, of course.
to serve the members that come in. We do have a health and wellness benefit that we offer our employees. We're a non-smoking company as well.
Yeah.
And we do have a newsletter that we publish with wellness tips, health tips, at our 2 main offices in D.C. and then down in Pensacola, Florida. They also have the health and fitness centers. We also give employees, we will reimburse them if they join a health club. We'll give them a reimbursement up to a certain dollar amount. Because, you know, if you keep yourself feeling well, then you're going to just be in a better position to deliver the goods that we need to be delivered to our members.
And so it sounds like, and this is what we're seeing all over the country in workplaces, is that we are having a blur in that line between personal and workspace, or home space and workspace. That there are blurs in that line, and while I think there's been a lot of decrying of that, some of these are very positive developments, because you're right. If you're very busy and you're trying to get home to help your child with your homework, not having to go home, stop by the gym, get all that done, that's a time saver. That's got to deliver some benefits.
No question, and we have a lot of people in our office who are out in the field anyway, and between Blackberries and telecommunication and laptops and computers and email and everything and text messaging, all the tools are there to keep you out of the office. So I agree with that 100%. We don't have to be there all the time. It's good to be there in the office to get certain things done, but you don't have to be there to get all things done.
Got it, right. Yeah, it's a great point. And if you get back to this idea that you're paying for results, not for time on the job, or not that, but that is a fundamental cultural shift in the American workplace.
It is a
huge, particularly from a generational perspective. When you have people who are of a certain generation who said, by golly, that's the time you show up and you work your 8 hours and your 10 hours and you don't go home till the job's done. Very interesting conversations happening around this issue of generations at work. So I suspect we'll perhaps have a little bit of friction maybe before we all get on the same page. I don't know. So what's next, John Wheeler? You got any other big ideas up your sleeve?
We do. We've got some things we've been working on, and one of the biggest things is providing more healthy lunches in the office. And
yeah,
we
2 days a week now.
2 days a week now, and also the associates on Fridays like to have things brought in themselves, things that they're good at, that they have their own specialties. But we do, and we're still working on some things to go forward. But again, baby steps.
Baby steps is what it is, and get everybody's buy-in. Vanessa, how about you? Any big ideas?
At Liberty, we like to jump right in, and right now we're actually expanding. We are doubling the size of our corporate headquarters with another 30,000 square foot building right next to it in the corporate Lanny Park area. And inside of it, we've actually developed it, you know, to foster our culture. There'll be 2 break rooms and game rooms and flat screen TVs. And it just goes to the culture of you know, being the best, which is our next step, to be #1.
Well, listen, we had originally invited your boss. He couldn't do the show, so you make him wear that suit for the next show.
There you go.
Martha, thank you for being with us, and I hope for great things for your company as well. For Navy Federal Credit Union. I want to thank all of you for being with us tonight. It's been so interesting, and boy, you know, you think about the culture that has to happen. And John, as you point out, it is about baby steps. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I'll be back in a moment with a final thought. In addition to hosting this broadcast, I also have the very great privilege of serving as Executive Director of the Civic Leadership Institute. And last night, Civic presented its annual Darden Award for Regional Leadership. The award is named for the legendary and still very hard at work philanthropist Josh Darden. Last night, we honored the president of the Eastern Virginia Medical School, Harry Lester. Now, for most of us, 30 years of success in commercial real estate would be a license to relax. But for Harry Lester, it was just the beginning. After serving on the board of EVMS, his colleagues asked him to step up in 2005 and lead the institution. Now, at the time, the board said it wanted to bring stability to the school, but Harry Lester brought much more. He brought the kind of leadership that puts a $700 million imprint on the region and gives EVMS a key role in responding to physician shortages in the Commonwealth and across the country. With his tireless lobbying, his legendary negotiating skills, and his very affable personality, Harry Lester helped convince lawmakers that EVMS should, for the first time, be part of a state bond package. The money is paying for a new building, and when it's finished in 2011, it will educate 30% more graduates at EVMS, 35 more medical students, and 30 more physician assistants each year. But Lester's leadership extends beyond medicine. He was there at the start of Lynnhaven River Now. He has served on the boards of the Norfolk Foundation, the Hampton Roads Partnership, the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, and he helped Norfolk and Virginia Beach step back from the brink and work out a plan to care for the historic Adam Thorogood House. He, by the way, also led the $30 million capital campaign at the Chrysler Museum. Now, if you run into Harry Lester, the odds are quite good that he will ask you for money. But you can bet it's always for something that will make Hampton Roads a better place, like EVMS, a school that's on the map because of its commitment to service. It's little wonder that last year EVMS received nearly 5,000 applications for 110 spots in the incoming class. Whenever I fall into cynicism about leadership today, I think about people like Harry Lester and Josh Darden. They typically have one thing in common. They just don't care who gets credit for success. And that's the kind of leadership we should celebrate every day. Next week on What Matters, Escapes to Freedom. 2 inspirational stories from 2 different times in 2 different parts of the world. We'll share them with you next week on What Matters. In the meantime, I hope you'll also join us on the radio dial for our news and public affairs program, Hearsay. It's on 89.5 WHRV every weekday at noon. Thanks for watching. I'm Kathy Lewis, and we'll see you next time for another look at What Matters.